You better hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
Welcome to Watch Mojo's Secondhand Cringe. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 cringiest Twilight moments. Number 10. Bella first sees Edward. Twilight. Edward bewitches Bella the second he walks through the cafeteria door, sporting a brooding demeanor and a hairdo that makes Jean-Ralphio look subtle. After exchanging blank glances from across the room, they're later paired together in biology. This immediately makes Edward uneasy due to Bella's enticing stench. Number 9. Jacob is hotter. The Twilight Saga Eclipse.
And let's face it, I am hotter than you.
When Bella is chilled to the bone while camping, Edward and Jacob are forced to put their heated love triangle aside. Since Edward doesn't exactly have the warmest body, a topless Jacob steps up to the plate. This amounts to arguably the funniest line in the movie, although we're not sure if it's funny for the reasons that the writers intended. Although the guys do briefly bond, Jacob kind of spoils the moment when he tells Edward that even if Bella was out of the picture, he still wouldn't like him.
No. Not even then.
Number 8. Jacob kisses Bella without consent. The Twilight Saga Eclipse. Spelling out his feelings, as if they weren't obvious already, Jacob pleads with Bella to choose him. Although Bella makes it clear that she loves Edward, Jacob won't take no for an answer and forces a kiss. This scene was uncomfortable back in 2010, and viewing it through a modern lens, Jacob's actions really haven't aged well. Bella rightfully responds by punching Jacob in the face. Number 7. Bella and Edward's Wedding. The Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1. If you never got into Twilight, chances are you weren't especially ecstatic when Bella and Edward's wedding day finally came. The same can be said about Bella herself, as an equally discomforted Charlie walks his daughter down the aisle. Granted, Bella always had reservations about this wedding. Still, she looks less like someone who's about to get married and more like Mike when he got sick at the movies. Number 6. Jacob reveals his true nature to Charlie. The Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2. Charlie's most memorable moment comes in the final film when Jacob introduces him to the supernatural world. Being Jacob, this of course involves taking his shirt off. When Charlie woke up that morning, we doubt he expected his daughter's sort of ex-boyfriend to strip down in front of him. How can you not crack up when Charlie matter-of-factly tells Jacob to put some clothes on? Even more surreal than Jacob's striptease is when he turns into a werewolf in front of Charlie. Number 5. Bella, Edward, and the Bed. The Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1.
You're so beautiful.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with waiting until marriage. But this can amount to an awkward honeymoon, especially when the bride is a human and the groom is a vampire. After skinny dipping on a moonlit night, Bella and Edward take things into the bedroom. Edward doesn't know his own strength, however, and destroys the bed's headboard. While this would normally be enough to kill the mood, Bella and Edward carry on anyway, only for the scene to cut to black. Number 4. The Wolves Start Talking. The Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1.
You will fight with us, Jake.
Keep in mind that this is the 4th Twilight movie, and up until this point, we've never heard the wolves talk to each other like this. Not only is this moment jarring, but it's unintentionally hilarious. The voice actors all try way too hard to sound tough, and the over-the-top sound effects make matters infinitely more laughable. The goofiest part is that the wolves communicate telepathically, meaning their dialogue doesn't sync up with their mouth movements. Number 3. Sparkle, Sparkle, Sparkle. Twilight.
It's like diamonds.
One of the biggest problems people have with Twilight is that it ignores most of the characteristics vampires traditionally have in folklore. Instead, Stephenie Meyer made up several traits that many would argue are, well, lamer than anything we'd ever associate with Dracula. A key example is when Edward and Bella find the only glimmer of sunlight in the dreary woods. Stepping into the light, Edward shows Bella what he really is: the human incarnation of a disco ball. We mean vampire. Number 2. Renesmee. The Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2.
Beautiful.
The closest Twilight ever comes to legitimate horror territory is when Bella gives birth to her daughter, who sadly must go through life with the name Renesmee. As difficult as the birthing scene is to watch, it's what comes after that gets under our skin. Now a vampire, Bella awakens to find her baby happy, healthy, and 100% CGI. It's hard to get invested when Renesmee looks like a reject from Super Baby's Baby Geniuses 2. Would it have been that hard to just get a real baby? Number 1. Edward watches Bella sleep. Twilight. 2008 was a simpler time when it was considered socially acceptable for a boy to break into a girl's house and watch her sleep. Actually, that was never okay. But for some reason, Bella doesn't see a major problem with Edward stalking her at night. When Edward tells Bella that he's been doing this for months, it feels more like something out of a psychological thriller than a teen romance. Honestly, if Edward wasn't totally gorgeous, we don't think Bella would find this charming. We think she'd call the police, or her father, who's a cop.
I like watching you sleep.